A father, a son, a knife. The most famous sacrifice in history. But which son? For centuries, Jews and Muslims have clashed over this question. One book says Isaac, another says Ishmael. Billions of lives shaped by this mystery. Today, we expose the hidden layers of this ancient debate and why it still divides two worlds. Stay until the end, because the answer might change how you see faith itself. Imagine a story so powerful, it's etched into the DNA of two global religions. A test of faith so extreme, it's remembered every year by millions. But here's the twist. They don't agree on who the hero is. For Jews, it's Isaac bound on the altar. For Muslims, it's Ishmael trembling under the knife. Same father, Abraham, different sons. Why does this matter? Because this isn't just about history, it's about identity. And every Eid al-Adha, this debate echoes louder than ever. What if the Quran never names the son? And why do Muslims insist it's Ishmael anyway? Let's break it down. The story of the sacrifice, where a father's faith is tested by the command of God to sacrifice his son, has been told countless times. In Islam, the story is that of Abraham, and his son Ishmael. In Judaism, the story centers around Isaac, Ibrahim's other son. Both religions agree on the core event, but there is one major difference. Who was the son on that altar? And why does this matter so much? The answer to this question goes beyond ancient history. It has real, lasting implications on how Muslims and Jews view their own faiths, their histories, and even their identities today. What if the debate isn't about scripture at all? What if it's about power? Who controls the narrative, controls the future? In the Bible, particularly the book of Genesis, God commands Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac. This event is seen as a powerful moment of obedience and faith, where Abraham, in his ultimate act of submission, prepares to sacrifice the son he loves. At the last moment, God intervenes and provides a ram for the sacrifice instead. This story is crucial in understanding the Jewish perspective. Isaac, as the son of Abraham and Sarah, is seen as the one who will inherit the covenant God made with Abraham. The sacrifice of Isaac represents the pinnacle of Abraham's faith in God and the trust he places in him, even when asked to give up everything. But what does the Quran say? In Islam, the story is similar, but with one crucial difference. The son to be sacrificed is not Isaac, but Ishmael, the first son of Abraham and Hagar. The Quran speaks of Ibrahim's devotion to God and the trial he faced, but it is Ismail who is the one asked to be sacrificed. This difference isn't just a small detail. It represents a key theological divergence between the two religions. For Muslims, Ismail's sacrifice is seen as a symbol of ultimate submission to Allah. It also ties directly to the celebration of Eid al-Adha, a holiday where Muslims commemorate Ibrahim's obedience and trust in God by sacrificing an animal, usually a goat, sheep, or cow. Now you might be asking, why does it matter who was on the altar? After all, the core of the story is the same. A father willing to sacrifice his son in obedience to God. However, the identity of the son in this story shapes the identity of the two religions in a profound way. For Jews, Isaac is the child of promise. The covenant with God is passed down through him, and his sacrifice marks the beginning of a legacy that continues through the Jewish people. Isaac's story is central to Jewish theology and is deeply tied to the Jewish understanding of God's plan for their people. For Muslims, Ismail is the one who carries the legacy of Ibrahim's faith. The Quran makes it clear that Ismail's lineage is where the prophethood continues, with Muhammad being a direct descendant of Ismail. This makes Ismail's sacrifice not just a personal trial for Ibrahim, but a pivotal moment in the formation of Islam itself. The historical and cultural impact. This theological difference has not just religious implications. It has shaped the cultural and political landscape for centuries. The tension between the followers of Isaac and Ismail is not just confined to ancient texts, but continues to influence relationships between Muslims and Jews to this day. The historical rift that began with this debate over the sacrifice has echoed through the ages, from the conflicts over land to the deeper struggles of identity. This story has remained a cornerstone of the Islamic-Jewish divide. The story, though thousands of years old, still serves as a foundational point for the differences that continue to shape the relationship between the two communities today. For Muslims, the identity of the son on the altar is of utmost importance because it directly connects to one of their holiest days, Eid al-Adha. The festival, which commemorates Ibrahim's willingness to sacrifice his son in obedience to God, is a reminder of faith, submission, and trust in Allah's plan. On Eid al-Adha, Muslims around the world perform the ritual of Qurbani, sacrificing an animal, which symbolizes Ibrahim's sacrifice. The meat from the animal is distributed among the poor, ensuring that everyone shares in the blessings of the day. This act of sacrifice is not just a ritual, it is an act of faith and submission, a reminder of Ibrahim's unwavering belief in God's will. But here's the thing. The debate over Isaac and Ismail isn't just about two religions disagreeing over an ancient event. It's about what that event says about trust, sacrifice, and identity. For Muslims, it's about honoring their faith's roots and celebrating the obedience of Ibrahim and Ismail. For Jews, it's about understanding the promise that Isaac's sacrifice represents and the covenant that it secured. This debate over who was on the altar is about much more than just a theological disagreement. It represents the deep, intertwined history of two peoples who have shaped the course of human civilization for millennia. And the fact that this debate continues today in the context of modern conflicts and relationships shows just how relevant these ancient stories still are in today's world. So, what can we take away from this debate? The identity of the son on the altar is more than just a theological point. It reflects the heart of each religion, the identity of each people, and the very foundation of their faiths. Whether it's Isaac or Ismail, the significance of the sacrifice remains the same, a powerful reminder of faith, submission, and the unshakable trust in God. Now, as we reflect on the differences between these two interpretations, let's think about how this story shapes not just our religious practices, but our interactions with others. How often do we allow ancient differences to define modern relationships? Could this debate over Isaac and Ismail be a symbol of something greater, a call for us to find common ground despite our differences? So, as we close today's discussion, I leave you with this thought. In a world where we are constantly divided by our beliefs, could understanding the roots of these debates lead to a deeper, more compassionate understanding of each other? It's time to go beyond what divides us and focus on what unites us. Think about that as you share this video with others who may need to hear it. Together we can bridge the gap and move towards a more harmonious future.